What is going on, guys? My name is Cecil. Welcome back to Feeds Mindset, episode number 42 with the man Pawnzy. Pawnzy, how are you, man? Welcome in.
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing well, man. I appreciate you being able to just kind of have the time to take this. We both have had a very hectic couple hours.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, it is currently, for anybody watching, it's almost 3 o'clock in the morning for me. I think it's almost 2 for Pawnzy. We decided to do a little Valorant collab and then a podcast to finish it off. So again, obviously, regardless of the time frame, I do appreciate you being here today and just to kind of talk about everything. It means a lot for sure. So getting into everything, before we start with all the questions and everything, just go ahead for anybody watching, just kind of tell them, who you are and what do you do.
My name is Pawnzy. I'm a 21-year-old content creator and streamer. I stream over on Twitch. Very fun. I'm very interactive with my community. The main thing I mostly focus on is streaming. I love to, again, interact with my community, talk, yap, like profusely yap.
So what do you play? Is Fortnite what you mainly play right now?
Yeah, so I mainly focus on FPS games, but mostly Fortnite, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, have you been playing Fortnite for a long time?
I've been playing since Season 5. Chapter 1, Season 5.
That's crazy. That's a really long time. Fortnite's evolved so big. I feel like it's very unexpectedly evolved. Like I feel like in the beginning it was just kind of like a cool game that everybody liked, and I think it was like season 2 is when all the crazy building and all that stuff came in, and that's when I quit. I was like, I can't. It was too much for me. Yeah, no, it was too much for me. And then they brought the no builds back, and I was a little happy. I was like, okay, like this is manageable. I can do this, but I don't play Fortnite that much at all. But you went to quite a couple events and stuff for Fortnite, have you not?
Yes, I have. So the recent one I recently went to was DreamHack Atlanta, which was absolutely fun. It was amazing.
Yeah, that sounds sick. I've never been to like any events or anything, so I've always wanted to go, especially like with COD. Obviously, not really like Fortnite much because I'm way out of the loop with Fortnite for sure. But I've always wanted to go to like COD major events and kind of be there and hang out. I feel like it'd be a really cool time. So I'm guessing you've met like a lot of creators and stuff going to those places.
Oh yeah, I've met people like NPen, Oliver OG, Owl, a few other creators.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, it's like I feel like, especially like with TwitchCon, and if there ever comes out to be like a KitCon, that would be obviously really cool. Like those are like some of the biggest places that like a lot of people, I don't know, like figure out how to word this. Like a lot of people get recognized that don't know they're going to get recognized. Like I see like whenever the events happen, I'll see a lot more like pictures and videos and vlogs of like stuff that I didn't expect to see from those people because they're not like the most engaging, like because they don't really feel like a lot of people is watching them, and then they go to TwitchCon and they're like, oh, this picture with this person, this picture with this person. It's like really cool to see because they're like really getting out of their comfort zone, and it just kind of makes you feel good knowing that people are there for you and like physically, like, hey, like I am physically your fan. I feel like that's really cool.
Right, yeah. TwitchCon was definitely, yeah, that was an interesting experience. I was on the topic of what you were just saying, I was standing in line for a Cypher PK tournament, and some little kid runs out of the distance and goes, Pawnzy. I'm like, I'm looking left and right trying to figure out where my nephew's coming from. And this little guy just asked for a little photo, and so it's just the coolest thing ever. I don't know.
Yeah, that's sick. You got recognized by little Timmy. That's insane. That is crazy. How did that make you feel though? Was that your first like fan interaction?
Yeah,
with
technically
Timmy?
speaking, that was my first fan interaction. My second fan interaction was actually at my own Taco Bell drive-thru. I lost myself that day. I still to this day am just, that is just unbelievable.
Walk me through what happened.
So I was sitting in my car at a Taco Bell drive-thru at 12 a.m. I'm just hungry and ready to go to bed. And these group of college girls run out of their car and they see me and they're like, wait. And they say my name and I go, and just profusely, and I roll up the windows, lock the doors, and I like slowly back out and drive away because
oh my god, I'm crying.
Like UW-Madison, like 3 college girls, just like, and I'm just like, no.
Dude, I'm crying. I didn't expect that story to get so deep right there.
No,
that's crazy.
I was just trying to get Taco Bell. I went home and went to bed.
You sound like you got really scared.
I was scared. I'm not used to females running at me.
Oh man, I gotta collect myself. I didn't expect to hear this kind of stuff today. Okay, everything's fine. Well, that's definitely a story for sure.
Mhm.
That's crazy. Did you tell like your parents about it or anything? You
Oh yeah, I
freaked them
told
out?
my mom just looked at me, just kind of like blank space, just
Probably thought you were lying to her or something.
probably.
That's crazy, man. That's a wild story, but that's pretty cool. As actually, like, it was funny that you mentioned Taco Bell. Taco Bell was technically, like, it was technically my first job. My first job I ever had, I worked at a Holiday Inn with my mom, and I just kind of did like small things. But like my first job that was like mine, like without family and stuff, was Taco Bell for probably about half a year. And it started out with me working at like the cash register for like the first month. And then, just kind of like normal part-time kid that was in high school, I just got thrown in the window every single day, and it sucked so bad. I hated it so much. And standing on that concrete floor for like 8 straight hours right after school, like, it sucked. Like, it taught me a lot. Like, I'm still grateful for it, but man, like, it was a tough job, and it definitely like allowed me to kind of have a lot more respect for people that work in the fast food industry, because like a lot of people I feel like see the fast food industry as just kind of like last resort minimum wage job. But like, I mean, there's a lot of career growth. I mean, especially like even something like McDonald's. Like, everybody obviously always looks down at McDonald's, but it's a career, like, for sure. Like, it is the most booming company as far as like fast food goes. So I'll always have a lot of respect for fast food workers ever since I worked at Taco Bell.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. They don't get enough like reward or like kudos or anything.
Yeah, and it definitely stinks because it's like, I mean, it's just kind of like same thing like my story. Like, I went there, I busted my butt, and then I just ended up finding a better opportunity and leaving. And it's like, the thing that stinks is like places like that just always watch people come and go, and it's like, it stinks because that, like, a business aspect, you'll never be able to like succeed that way if you're just constantly having new people every 3 to 6 months.
Right.
But it stinks. But like I said, at the same time, I'm still grateful for it. But it was just funny that you mentioned Taco Bell, because I just started thinking of all my like past experiences and drive-throughs and stuff. But anyways, but yeah, that's cool. It's a little weird that 3 random college girls ran up to you, but to each their own. I mean, yeah, it's cool. It's a sick story. So we've talked about you playing Fortnite and being into the gaming industry and stuff like that. So obviously, gaming is a big part of your life and content creation, and you are kind of the fortunate small group of, I guess, person, not really people, because you're just only one person, but a lot of people don't get the chance to go to events and do these hangouts and do these meetups and stuff like that. So obviously gaming is a really big part of your life and your content creation. So just kind of take me through, like, as a kid growing up, how did you get into gaming, and how is it something that you just come to love?
Well, when I was a kid, I had a really big problem meeting kind of new friends. I had like this really bad anxiety problem. So my
Mhm.
mom kind of recognized that at a younger age, and she kind of gave me my first console was just like it was just a little Game Boy with Pokemon Yellow in it. I adored it. I got my Pokemon addiction from that. And after that, I got into the first ever Xbox, not the Xbox One, the Xbox.
The
And
original, yeah.
yeah, the original Xbox. Then it was the Xbox 360, then the PlayStation 3. And like my family wasn't like the richest family. We were kind of
Hmm.
like poverty. So like everyone
Hmm.
had the Xbox One and I was still playing the 360. They
Gotcha.
had like the One S came out, still playing the 360.
So you played the 360 for a while. What games was you playing on the 360?
So the one game that is basically my all-time favorite game. It's the game that I got my mom to play. And that's how I got my mom to game, and that's kind of like where I've built my
Oh.
um like my love for gaming is because of like this one game, Borderlands. Borderlands is just it was that joint like connections, bonding time with your parents, and it's just really great to have. It was a great time.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I agree. There's one of my decent buddies. His name's Apollo, and I don't know if it's like his favorite series, but he definitely loved that series and played it a lot. And every time I would pop in a stream, he was always playing it. So it's a really cool game, and it seems like to have a lot of similarity. I mean, I've heard that from a lot of other creators that that's like their favorite, game category growing up into the Borderlands series and stuff. I've never personally played it myself. I was really into Far Cry. I don't know how similar that is to Borderlands, but Far Cry is, I guess, the closest I could say that I have into that. But for me, like growing up, for me, I mean, the Final Fantasy series is always something that'll be near and dear to my heart. Like as far as like a favorite game, like Final Fantasy 12 will definitely be it. But that was mainly like I love the game, but it was mainly just more so like the not like trauma, but like the past that I had, and it just kind of helped me like get through it, that time. But aside from that, there's the Fallout series, Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 3. Those were definitely very solid games that I've spent hours and hours during like my summer during school playing. Was there any like favorite games that you had as a kid growing up that you wasted away like tons of hours?
Borderlands, and then when Borderlands 2 came out, I'm pretty sure if I got the Xbox 360 back, even though it has the red circle of death on it, if I looked at my Xbox 360 account, there's probably 1,500 hours on Borderlands 2. That because I 100% of the game, and then I speedruned the game, and I remember clear as day. I speed ran Borderlands 2. I think it was within 22 hours, which was phenomenal for a little kid to do.
Yeah, you was freaking zooming through that. I can't do speedruns, man. Like I tried to do it. Like the only time I've ever tried to do a speedrun was on Super Mario. And I downloaded like an emulator on my PC, and it was cool for like the first like couple days, and then it got really annoying because I couldn't do all the glitches and all the jumps and stuff, and I quit, so I stopped.
Yeah.
But so with Borderlands, so you said that was the game that your mom got into. How did that kind of work out? Like, did your mom just openly wanted to play that with you one day, or?
Well, I was probably like 8 years old and went, Mama, Mama, check out this game. It rated M for mature. Can I get it? Only if I play it with you. Okay.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, that's cool that you have that connection, though. I mean, there's a lot of kids that it's obviously like completely flip the script, like oh, like you can't have that game, like that's way too much for you. And I feel like like I still have yet to be a dad. I probably will be one in the next year or so. But like even if I had my own kid, like I would definitely limit them to playing certain games, but I wouldn't like at least me personally like if it's a game that I thought wasn't mature for them and I knew that it was a game that I like enjoyed, especially as a kid growing up, I would at least try to be there for him. And I think that's kind of something really cool that parents could do, and just like you said, your mom does. Like it was a mature game that wasn't meant for kids, but at the same time, if you're there with your kid, you're able to kind of teach them and guide them, and you can even hide all the gory stuff and all that stuff. So I mean, that's really awesome. Sorry, my nose keeps freaking itching. It's really awesome that your mom was being able to kind of be invested in that, and I think that's something a lot of people, and I'm not trying to like bring this down like a negative way, but like a lot of people wish that their parents were more involved in their gaming lives, and you got that happened at a very young age for you. So I'm sure that probably meant a lot to you.
Oh yeah, it definitely did.
So as we're growing up, we're playing Borderlands, we're hanging out. So when was let me figure out how to ask this. So you started getting into streaming. Was Fortnite the game you started playing when you got into the whole streaming space, or was there something before that?
There was. I mean, not there wasn't. I started streaming Fortnite off of my Xbox, just the Xbox One. Barely ran it. I think my stream probably averaged about 5 FPS.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy. So Fortnite was the first game that you started streaming. How did you get into streaming? How did you understand like that streaming was its own world? Was it Twitch that you first streamed on? I mean, how did all that work out for you?
So yeah, Twitch was the first one that I streamed on because by the time that I started streaming, that was back in my first ever stream was back in 2021. I think it was December of 2021. It was almost 2022. And my parents, my new parents, my foster parents, they got
Mm-hmm.
me this like really cool monitors. I still have both of them today. They're both these right
Oh,
here.
that's cool.
And then they got me two monitors, and then they got me a better Xbox. And then I bought a keyboard and mouse myself. I was probably 17, 18, 17. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
17. And I got really into gaming again. So
Yeah.
that's like where I found my love for kind of like streaming. I had one viewer that consistently came back. There's a Jinxie clipped out there. He was streaming that one guy, dude. He was
Yeah.
like that one guy was there for every single stream, no matter what I played.
Yeah, that's always sick. It's always cool to have those connections and just kind of knowing like knowing that you're making that difference, and being able to see it, because like a couple weeks and the same person's by, like it's all cool, like you respect them and they're loyal to your stream and they come by, but like after like a couple months, you start like it just starts like setting in like they're still here, like they've
Right.
not left yet. It's like a surreal feeling that you can't like explain. So you said was Twitch what you started streaming on? Was that the first platform?
Yeah.
Okay. Was there a specific reason like how you got into streaming? Like did somebody show you? Did you just randomly find it one day?
So when I was 17, believe it or not, I still had like this extreme anxiety. Like I had like just about when I was 19, I actually started talking to people, and I'm 21, so that's 2 years ago. But like I kind of like, so when I was 17, my foster parents realized this, that cuz I went through a lot of trauma in my childhood, so streaming was kind of like a way
Hmm.
to relax and kind of like
Hmm.
talk to people without talking to people. Like they're there, but they're just texting,
Yeah.
which is kind of like how I kind of built. Believe it or not, that's basically like how I built my social, like how I'm able to talk to people nowadays, and I can walk up
Yeah.
and yap somebody's head off now. But like, yeah,
Yeah, I
so
mean that's sick. That's cool. I mean, I'm glad that that had all worked out for you and seemed like it kind of opened up a whole new door for you.
oh yeah, definitely. Just as like a mental thing, and like a mental thing, it's definitely clicked something in me. And then on top of that, again, it was just a really nice door, and yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, that's awesome, and I'm glad that you got into it, and I'm glad that, especially a game like Fortnite. I think that's kind of the the common relationship that it has with a lot of people. Is there's just some people that was able to kind of tack onto it and just really develop a love for the game to where, like, yeah, you was streaming the game, but at the same time, like, you was honestly just kind of playing the game, and the stream was just happening as you was playing it. I mean, that's like a lot of people can resonate. Like, it's not just Fortnite, but there's a lot of people nowadays that like, yeah, they're streaming, but a lot of people kind of like forget that they're streaming because they're just having so much fun on the game. And that definitely seems like to a certain extent, kind of what you've done. Because a lot of times when I pop in your stream, like you're locked in, like until you die or you're down or something, like you're really locked in trying to make sure that you secure the bag and get the win for your teammates.
Yeah, that's definitely Fortnite. That's like one of the main reasons why I want to get some more so into like the IRL aspect. But right now,
Mm-hmm.
Fortnite and gaming is like my main thing. But hopefully in the near future, I can save up enough money for the IRL streaming backpack that I was looking forward
Yeah.
to.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, I definitely like to be doing that. Like, what kind of IRL content would you have like an idea of making?
I just want to go and travel places. Like, I feel like people would just enjoy it because one, like I love interacting with my community. Like I've said in the beginning, interacting with my community, talking to people, like, and then let alone I sometimes go in like a chilling, like I'll go into the open chord, and as soon as I open that chord, it's just just everyone joins, just hi hi hi, and then I'll just start talking to people. Just it's cool, just actually
Yeah.
talking to my viewers, which I feel like out of the few streamers out there, not many actually like talk to their viewers. They talk through them
Yeah.
like through the text, but like I sometimes will go in a chord and just yap away. Just it's fun.
Yeah, no, I mean that's cool, and I think that's a very personal aspect that you can have. Like a lot of people have that same aspect with streaming, but they do it like with Discord, but not like obviously like not like talking. They just like check up and type in and be like, oh, like good morning guys, hope you're having a good day and stuff, and like that's all like fine and great, but it seems like you've taken it sometimes a little bit of a step further and actually talking to your community, and that's pretty cool. That's something that's definitely not commonly done at all, just talking to your viewers. Like obviously the mainstream is just like oh, these are the people I'm playing with, so this is the call that we're all talking and like the normal whatever, but you never really see much of an actual viewer like being able to just like interact with the stream. And I feel like that's like a newfound respect that you kind of deserve for people when I feel like that's just a whole nother level of engagement when not only is a viewer watching you, but they're also wanting to talk to you real time while they're watching you in delayed time and reacting to your stuff. I mean, that's really cool. It's very humble. So that's awesome that you have that type of community.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, it's great. It's actually phenomenal.
Yeah, it's sick. So take me through. So obviously your name is Pawnzy, and your ad is Pawnzy Love You. Of course, if you're watching this video, please go follow him. His little Twitter hag is right below his head. So is there a backstory at all behind Pawnzy? How'd you get the name Pawnzy?
So my first ever username was the King Pawn 1234, and for whatever reason, that was my first ever Twitch tag. And I'm like, dude, why does it look like a 14-year-old made this? I'm looking at it. I'm like, no one's gonna like follow the King Pawn 1234. And I was just like, I need something that's like that, because my thing is like I'm a very big chess nerd. I have a lot of
Yeah,
trophies. Just like I love chess. Chess is
that's
probably,
sick.
yeah. So I tried to get on online chess. For whatever reason, online chess is just not my thing. But as soon as I'm like
Yeah,
over the board, it's a whole nother
yeah,
dimension. It's just great. So I wanted to stick with the pawn because I wanted this. The pawn is basically a chess piece that can move forward, but it's one of the
hmm,
most useless pieces until you get it to the end. That because at the end you can turn it into whatever you want. And so like I
gotcha.
wanted that to be my kind of signature. My mom's like, "Why did you choose that?" She's like, and I was just like, "Well, you take the pawn and it can become a queen or a knight or whatever you need at the end of the road." And so I came up with like Pawnzy because it sounded really good. But Pawnzy was
Yeah.
taken, so I went with Pawnzy Live, and then all my other stuff is Pawnzy Loves You.
Yeah. Well, that's sick. That's awesome that chess is really, into your background. That's cool to know that you have like trophies and stuff. Is that something that you would also want to try to incorporate in your IRL streams?
Oh, definitely. I want to get more into like tournaments and stuff again. I haven't went to a tournament since like 2018. It's been a minute.
Yeah. You're going to have to start practicing.
Dude, I'm gonna
Get back.
get beat up by a 5-year-old.
That would be a great first stream for your first IRL
Pawnzy gets
stream.
clipped by a 5-year-old IRL.
Yeah, you're gonna change your name from Ponzi loves you to Ponzi hates you. That's funny, man. Well, that's awesome. I'm glad that you have that going for you, and that's really nice that you have a hobby on top of that outside of it. And yeah, I don't really know nothing about chess. I know checkers all day long. Not saying I'm good at it. I just know about it. I've played it quite a bit, but yeah, chess is just a whole nother dimension for me. I don't understand it at all, and I'd get slammed if I ever tried it for sure. But so let's see. Trying to think of one of the first questions that I kind of want to ask to start our little adventure here. So you've been streaming for how many years have you been streaming for?
I've been streaming for about 2.5 years. I'm almost coming up on my 2-year affiliate anniversary.
Okay. So before we get into all of that, like obviously you have a PC now, and
Yeah.
when you first started, you were on console. So when was the moment that you got into PC gaming?
Recently actually. This PC's probably 7 months old.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as I got this PC, like as soon as I put the money down for a PC, I put in hours, and I mean hours of streaming, learning stuff, learning code, learning how to do commands, learning how to do backgrounds, learning how to do film, learning how to do, and I just put all this time and effort into it. Like it's to the point like it's in my bloodstream. I help out creators now. Creators ask me for help, which is
Yeah.
amazing to have like just like to have a name out there. Like some people like actually people will recommend me to other streamers like, hey, you need
Yeah.
help, here, take him, just like not as like a hostage situation, take him.
Yeah.
It's like
Take him.
take him, I don't. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's just so yeah, my PC's probably 6 months old. It's not too old. It has a 4070 in it. It's really nice.
Gotcha. So in the instance of Fortnite, because that is your main game, how was the switch from console Fortnite to PC Fortnite?
So I'm a controller player by heart, so I've always stuck with like the Xbox controller. But
Hmm.
switching to the PC was a game changer, definitely. I was able to take it into a competitive aspect, and that's why I took it to DreamHack. Is great. I think we didn't do too good, but that my mindset behind was that to go there and have fun. Like, cause I've never
Yeah,
been to
for sure.
DreamHack. Is like I wanted to go and have fun, but I also wanted to compete in my first ever LAN tournament.
Yeah.
And with that, it was just a whole nother dimension. Like I was actually sitting there like, holy smokes, there's a pro right next to me. He's gonna clip me.
Yeah, yeah, because I remember because you was streaming it a little bit. I know you didn't stream it a lot, but I remember you streaming a little bit when you was sitting there in the booth with all the other people, and that's why I was sitting there watching the stream. I was like, dude, this is hectic. Like I could never. I'd be freaking out. Like I couldn't even focus with all that stuff going on.
Dude, I was full like I was full in the zone. It was fun. And then at was one point that because when I got there, I'm on 0 hours of sleep. I, I'm a 0 hour sleep champion at this point. Like, I got there, I hooked up my PC, started it on, everything ran, and I was just like, okay, good. You know what we need to do? We need to go get food, get a coffee. Our tournament's in an hour. We have to sit here for the next 7 hours. Then we go to sleep. I kid you not, we parked the car in the mid tournament. I put my head down and I take a nap mid tournament.
Well, I mean, you got to do it sometime. I mean, at least you was able to find the small time to do it.
Right.
But yeah, that's it. Was that your first like in-game setting when you had went to DreamHack?
Yeah, that was my first ever like LAN tournament. That was really fun.
Was you nervous on the way there?
I wasn't nervous on the way there. I was definitely nervous there though because like I'm there by some of the people like I watch. Like I'm watching you
Yeah.
across the screen. You're a really good player, and like now you're sitting right next to me.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to call somebody a cheater then when they're right next to you.
He's cheating.
What? Nothing. Nothing. Just keep
Nothing,
playing.
nothing.
You're doing great. You're
Good, good
doing great,
job.
man. That's great. Well, that's sick. Like I said, it's awesome that you was kind of able to experience that and that being your first time. And I'm glad that you took it in that direction too. I'm glad that like you did want to lock in for a short bit of time, but your overall objective was to just sit there and take it in and have time and stream like you did and take some pictures and stuff. And I feel like that's definitely the more important aspect. I feel like a lot of people when they're doing these events, like I feel like when you get to like a certain level, like when you're playing for like ridiculous amounts of money and stuff, like it kind of different a little bit here and there. But if you're just playing just for like a little bit or a nice trophy or like maybe a couple $1,000s or something, I think it's really important that you do kind of take in that like, you know, wow, like out of all the other people that could have been here, like I'm sitting here, like somebody else could easily be sitting in the seat that I'm sitting in right now playing instead of me. I think that's definitely the more important aspect. And I like the fact that you took it in and kind of like, not like, I don't like saying like the term like humbled yourself, but you was just like, he was just aware that you were just blessed to be there, and I feel like that's just such a sick thing to recognize. So you've been streaming for a little over close to 2 years. So obviously you've been through a lot. You have your Discord. You've researched tons of things. You've went to events and you've had all this stuff. So let's go ahead and kind of get into just a couple little questions. There could be a chance that there's new creators watching this little podcast with me and you. Some people, I think there's like a little statement of saying like some of the best creators haven't even clicked live yet. There's a lot of people that's worried about live streaming. They don't have the right type of equipment. They don't really know if people are going to watch them, and they're new to it. They don't really know how it's going to go. So what kind of advice would you give to streamers or content creators that are new and they're just now starting and they don't really know how to get into it? What's kind of some advice you would give to them?
So if you're having trouble going live, just click go live. You never know what's gonna happen. And again, that's like the first ever. Get your parents to follow you, of course. Get your sister, brother to watch you. Give them ask them for the support. That's when I first started off. And then once you start building a little bit of community, I definitely recommend branching out to other platforms. Twitter is one of my biggest ones, which is kind of crazy to say because most people it's usually TikTok or Instagram or YouTube. It's like their other platform that they branch off to, but I love just chatting with people on Twitter. So I use Twitter as a way to engage with people. So branching off is a main one. Engaging with your community is by far the best one. Because once you build that community, you want them to kind of stay, right? So you kind of get to know them essentially. Like as soon as you get that one viewer, say hello to them, say hi, how you doing, and then they're gonna keep coming back. That one hi, how you doing, is gonna keep them coming back, keep them saying from hello, how you doing, and from there you got your own little community. From there it just keeps growing and being consistent. Again, multiple platforms, keep pushing out, and don't be afraid for to ask for help. Like I've asked for help from many different people. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean that's definitely all important stuff, and I like definitely a couple of things that you had brought up there. Obviously, the first one being family. Now, obviously, of course, the unfortunate thing is everybody's situation is different. But if you are able to get your family involved, there's a lot of people that their family could get involved with their streaming and gaming aspect, but they're like afraid of like oh, what are they going to think, or oh, my mom and dad don't like me gaming anyways, or maybe they're just nervous and they just don't want to let them know about it. And I think that's definitely a very, very unique way to grow, because even though like gaming is like a escape for a lot of people, as it was for me for a long time, of course. And so the thought of gaming is for a lot of people, they want to kind of have their own thing, like just kind of them set aside. So I definitely understand like not wanting to involve it, but that's definitely, if you can get your family involved, it's the like the best way for you to get help, like right out the gate, right out in the beginning. It's your best shot at being able to really get out there and just kind of see the growth and the success that you want to see. And it just kind of gives you that feel in that aspect. So I definitely think family is most definitely important when it comes to that kind of stuff, because you really would want them to support you in that kind of stuff. And then the other thing that you had mentioned, of course, is reaching out to people. It's obviously something pretty difficult for a lot of people to do. They're afraid of what are they going to say, are they going to be mean, or are they not going to reply, or are they going to subtweet me saying, oh, these people in my DMs, so on and so forth. And that's kind of like the let me like it's kind of like a misconception. Like a lot of people feel like a lot of people hate seeing those messages, but there's actually a lot of creators that love getting those messages and be like, hey, like I need help with this. Like, hey, I'm so sorry to bother you, but I'm working on my first YouTube video. Like, if you have a second to watch like the first 2 minutes, can you please just let me know what you think? Like a lot of people think that that's annoying, but like in reality, like especially like a creator like me, and I'm assuming even yourself, like I love being able to see stuff like that, knowing that I can help you in your content creation journey. I mean, it's something that I love doing, knowing that I'm making a difference and making a change.
No, I totally agree with that. I love when people reach out to me. It's just a different feeling. It feels like I'm putting a change in the world, and that's like the main purpose of me streaming is like I want to help people essentially. Like I've when I first started streaming, I it was just streaming, but now like when streaming has come to me, like I my main goal with streaming is to like help people, let it be a rough day, or let it be like, hey, I'm going through something, let it be, hey, I need some help, or like, do you know this, do you know that, like how do you
Mhm.
do this, like how do you grow. It's just I love hearing that. Like
Yeah, and it's definitely just like we said before, it's kind of one of the things that's like swept under the rug. Like I said again, kind of like a broken record. A lot of people feel like people don't like those type of messages, but it couldn't be further from the truth. Like a lot of people genuinely do want to help you, and it's those little simple messages that like the biggest common saying is like you don't know who the next person you're going to meet. They could be the next opportunity for you. They could be your next best friend. They could save you in a situation, you could save them in a situation. And so that's why like I always really try to preach about being very positive that you can. Like me personally, like if I stream and like 30-40 minutes in I'm starting to be all negative and I'm complaining at the game and I'm swearing and I'm just really upset, like I fortunately kind of have the self-discipline to stop myself to where I'll just be like, I'll look at my stream and be like, hey, like I'm just not feeling it. Like today is just not a good day. I don't want you guys to watch this. And I'll end my stream. And a lot of people kind of have that, but they just don't kind of notice that they're being negative. And that's kind of the thing that stinks about it is like it's not really nobody's fault, but being able to be as positive as you can. I mean, you are going to be the one that dictates how long that person stays there. And just like you said, that simple hey, hello, like, oh, hey, like, how was your day today? It's like just having that upbeat, positive energy could like really make a difference, especially if somebody's having like a really rough day or something. They're having a rough time and they chose you out of all the other streamers to come and say hi to and for a lot of people, they'll go and say hi and they like their intention in their mind is like, I'll go see Pawnzy for like 2 minutes. I'll just tell him hi, just let him know that I was there. And because of Pawnzy's energy, I'm now there for like 30 minutes. That happens a lot. And it's because you changed that direction. Do you kind of agree with all that?
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah. So I just, like I said, I just think it's really important that people, at the end of the day, like you definitely need to understand the purpose that you're trying to provide. Like, what's the reason you got in the stream? What's the reason you got in the gaming? And most people all have the same thing. They want to make a change. They want to make people be happy and stuff. So the way that I look at it is like, if I'm streaming or like if I'm a viewer and I'm having a bad day, I would definitely want to watch somebody like me that's going to be able to make them happy. Because at the end of the day, like you can never have too many friends. You can never be too happy, and this world just needs a lot more positivity. I mean, there's so much negativity in this world; it's ridiculous, and I just wish that people were a lot more positive nowadays and a lot more supportive and stuff. And I feel like that gets really pushed with like the follow for follow and all that stuff. Like I really dislike that all that is kind of its own thing. I don't like the way that that's all orchestrated. I wish people would just support you for you with no regards to something back.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
So another little bit of advice, you talked about Twitter, and that was your main kind of same thing for me. Twitter is my main form of like how I'm getting my interactions and stuff like that. There's a lot of people that of course struggle with trying to get out there and support people, and they don't really know how to get into it. They don't know how to reach out and find friends, find people to play with and stuff. So is there any advice that you would give to creators that, let's say like they do like streaming, but they don't have enough people to play with and they want to try to find new communities and new people to play with and stuff? Is there any advice you would give people to try to help them find other people to play with?
So that's like an interesting one because like you can use the raid feature to like, hey, someday like one day I raided, like, he's one of my closest friends now. His name is Chip. He's a really nice guy, and he raided me one day and he's like, hey, you want to play someday? And he's just like, yeah. So like it's just like a little raid feature. Like you can raid somebody off even if you have one viewer. I know it's like, I know you're gonna seem like you have one viewer, say, but like even if it's one viewer, always like send off a raid, always go support another person. And with that, you can always ask somebody like, this guy seems nice, let's go raid him. And then you can always ask, hey, you want a game? And then you've pretty much made a new friend. That's one of the main ways that I've made a lot of friends across Twitch, and the reason why I have like a lot of streamer friends is because like I just kind of like raid off, and then if I like the person's energy, like I kind of like become friends with them, and that's like how I've met a lot of my friends. And then
Yeah.
on top of that, a lot of the how do I put this? Like a lot of the like events going on is a big one. Not like IRL events. Say like you got Respawn, which is currently going on right now. It's one of the
Mm-hmm.
things we're going for.
Mm-hmm.
Um Respawn is like a great way to connect with people. You got like 100 streamers coming together and they're all working together, but at the same time they're going for like a brand. But you basically meet 100 people. It's like, and then you can
Yeah.
like, it's amazing to just collab and connect with people and accept.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, that's kind of like and I've already said this spell on like a couple other collabs that I've done and stuff. But like the common question a lot of people get asked, like in this challenge, like how did you get to know Respawn? Like why are you in this challenge? Like why is this a thing for you? And like me personally, Frosty is one of my really good friends. I've known him for a long time, and he didn't introduce me to Respawn. I've always known about Respawn, but when they did their recruits last year, that's when I really started to take notice because, like, with my podcast that I do, that's what I was trying to get. I was trying to find more creators that were kind of more humbling and just kind of more like, I don't really know like the word for it, but just people that I could kind of see that reflected certain parts of me. They was just really positive, very upbeat. They shared mutuals, they was just very vibey, very fun to play with. And when the recruits went down last year, I had actually reached out to Frosty. I was like, hey, like a lot of these guys, I don't really know them, but they seem really cool. You're interacting with them a lot. Is there a way that you could try to connect me with a couple of them? And I think like 5 or 6 of however many that went last year, I was able to do an actual, podcast with, and was able to do it with the current couple partners now. Like off the top of my head, like Mama Lumi, did her, and Colpios and Redhead Vixen, and some other, wonderful men and women out there. And if it wasn't for me understanding what Respawn had built, I would have never got to meet those creators, and I would probably never be sitting here. Like me and you may not even be having this conversation if it wasn't for that. And that's something I cherished a lot. And so when the invitationals came up and it started being like, hey, like if you want to go for this, like show us what you're about, show us if you got what it takes, so on and so forth. That's what kind of made me think like, last year, I like not like taking advantage in like a bad way, but like I took advantage of knowing there was a lot of great genuine creators that I could connect with from my podcast. And now this year I'm like, oh, now I can be a part of it. Like now I'm in a state where my mental health is a lot better than what it was. I have a lot better schedule. I can actually afford to take time and sit down, and I'm grateful. Like regardless whether I don't make top 50, 25, partner, whatever it is, like I'm just grateful to be here and to meet all these people. And I've had some of the best laughs this week that I've had in months. And it's just something you can't put a price tag on, man. Like being able to have these genuine connections and meet these genuine people. It's just something you can only be thankful and grateful for.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Respawn has been amazing for the both of us. Like it's just meeting so many people again, like you said.
Yeah, definitely for sure. Well, one of the last things I kind of want to talk about, just a little bit of touch upon. Obviously, mental health is very big for me. People that are struggling and going through, mental breaks, and they don't enjoy the game that they're playing, or they don't feel like they're getting out there, or the content's not doing well, or maybe they don't enjoy putting out what they do, but they feel like they have to. So for people that want to take breaks, but they feel like, let's say they feel like when they come back nobody's going to care, or everything that they've worked for is going to be gone, but they don't enjoy what they do. What advice would you give for creators that want to take a break but don't know if it's the best time?
So one of the big things is I recently had one when I had some like I had something happen in my life that kind of like shook me, and it was kind of
Mm-hmm.
really bad, and I needed to take a break. I knew it was like I knew I couldn't game. I would be upset at this. I would want to like throw my controller or whatever. Just like I tell everyone to join my Discord, because like that's one of the main ways. Twitter and Discord is like the main way I kind of get around. Twitter's more so like I get to talk to with creators. Discord's like where my community's at. And I told them one day, I was just like, hey, I'm gonna be gone for 3 days, and they're like, oh, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? And I told them what's going on, and I came back like 3 days later. I've like never seen like that side of my community ever, and it was just like having that genuinely feeling of like you think you're gonna fall off, you're worried about stats, but if you really need to take a break, just take it. Let people know, or if you don't want to let them know, just kind of let them know, hey, I'm taking a break for 3 days, 5 days, 2 weeks. I guarantee you, if you have like a really nice and loyal fan base, again, some people may not come back, but that's okay. You can, it's your real people there will come back and say, hey, it's gonna be okay. Like, hey, like, dude, my whole chat was just welcome back. I hope you're feeling better. And it was just like, it was probably one of the most heartwarming like interactions that I could ever get. And at a time like that, like when you come back to streaming and you're kind of like low, it just really warms up your heart, and you're able to spread so much positivity so much quicker. It's a different feeling for sure.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And I mean, I somewhat have the same experience. I mean, it's not that I don't like talking about it, I just don't really talk about it that much. But my little spill that I went through last year, you probably wouldn't really know, because me and you had pretty much met when, NorCal and all that was happening, when we both went for the, NorCal recruits, and we both made NorCal Rising, which is sick. Um, but I went through a really bad mental spill. A lot financially. I had a lot of job changes and a lot of circumstances and situations that happened in my life, and I had to take a break for a couple months. And I was in and out, just kind of here and there, or whatever, and it was awful. And so then after everything, when I came back in, I think it was August, I decided that all of my content and everything that I was doing before, it just wasn't something I was happy with. I was mainly known as like a sniper and like playing Valorant. Like I was really big in Valorant before. Like now I'm okay at, like I'm pretty decent, but I'm nowhere as what I like used to be on it. I just it's not fun anymore. And just the whole gaming aspect, like I enjoy, but I was tired of that being like who I am. It's like just like I'm dictated by the game that I play. And so after I got out of my big old mental spill and I was okay again and things were up and looking better, that's when I decided to focus on my podcast back when I had like 3 episodes on my YouTube channel. Fun fact, I've always wanted to do podcasts, but I was always scared of it. I think that's another big, using the term misconception again. I use that term a lot, but using that term misconception again, a lot of people think that I'm super comfortable doing these podcasts. And like to an extent, like I am now, like I've done a lot. And so it's of course easier for me, but it's still hard at the same time, reaching out to creators and trying to get to know them and respect them and make sure that, I try to just create, a nice humbling thing. And I always worried that it would be difficult for me to maintain that. And so that's why I never did a podcast for the longest time. I knew I could talk your head off. I knew I had good questions that I felt like people enjoyed and content that I made, but I was always worried. But after I got out of my little mental spill last year, I decided to, pop off on my podcast. And for the month of August alone, I did I think like 23 to 25 episodes in like 1 month. And that was just my focus. I just wanted to really understand people. I wanted to get out there. I wanted them to know that I was there for them. And if I grow and all that, it happens when it happens. But it was just something I wanted to do. And so being able to go through that, I did my podcast. And then very shortly after I was kind of doing all that, that's when, NorCal hit. And they're like, hey, we're having a recruitment challenge and stuff. And I was like, okay, like, I'm fine now. Like, I have a good spill. Like, I started a reaction channel that I do beatbox content and stuff on, then my podcast and stuff. I was like, okay, like, maybe I can do this. Maybe I can sit here. And so that's when I decided, I was like, you know what? Like, there's not really any other teams out there, and NorCal has really been the only team that's always stood out for me for a long time because they always had a genuine community. You never see any type of drama or mishaps or anything from, at least from what I've seen and stuff in my personal experiences. And so I decided to go for it. And I mean, it was the funnest time that I've ever had, grinding and going for the new NorCal recruits to then be a part of NorCal Rising alongside with you and all our other wonderful members. It was just really humbling. And I'm sure you watched my video where, when I announced myself joining and when they allowed me to be a part of the team, it was very emotional for me because I was just thinking of all the hard times, all the times that I wanted to quit and I wanted to give up and felt like I wasn't enough and felt like people didn't care. And when I joined NorCal Rising and all that love, not only just from, because you kind of expect some love to just be like normal fans and people inside the team, but I got a lot of love from my personal friends that I've known for years and even people that like were my friends, but I never really like directly talked to them. And it was just something surreal. And I was just really in my feels that day because it's moments like that where like, you feel like you're grinding for so long and you don't get it and you don't get it and you want to give up or whatever. But it's just the old common saying, like, if you want it bad enough, like it'll happen. And, like I wanted to be sponsored by Elgato and I got that. Elgato was the first ever software that I was able to use. And that started my spike in my streaming career. And that's why I really wanted to be a part of them. And I got that. And then I really wanted to be a part of NorCal Rising and I got that. And hopefully I don't bite my tongue saying this, but want to be a part of Respawn, So if that happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it's no big deal. It's not a big deal at all. I won't really get emotional if I don't make it. It'll just stink and we'll try again. But that's just kind of the thing, at least with me. Like I don't set my mind to a lot, but what I do set my mind to, I'm fully passionate about it, regardless whether it works out for me or not. I think that's kind of one of the qualities, at least that I'm proud of myself, I guess, for is just how I can stay focused on what I want. And I feel like if people can kind of develop that same personality, then you'll, no matter what's going on in your life, you'll always be proud of yourself. And I think that's definitely a big thing that's kept me going. It's just because I know that I'm proud of me. That's why I don't really give up anymore. When before I wanted to give up so many times.
Yeah, and I can totally relate with that. Like with the respawn thing that we're both going for, it's like it feels like it's not just a chair to me. Like it's the reason why I'm going for this one in specifically. And when I saw the respawn invitationals go, Kelly, she's been one of my close friends, NorCal Kelly. We both
Yeah.
know her.
Shout out Kelly.
Yeah, she's amazing. She's been one of my closer friends for quite a bit. Like we went back and forth for quite a bit on it. And she's like, "Hey, invitationals are coming out. I mean, not invitationals. Recruits are coming out. You want to go
Right.
for it?" And I was just like, "Sure, why not?" And the reason why I said sure is like, it's like I didn't know I was gonna meet so many cool people. But the reason why I said sure to it is because this chair. It's funny that a chair has so much emotion to me, but the chair company, it's not just like a brand to me. It generally has like an emotional attachment to me. Is because Respawn was like my first ever gaming chair. And the funny thing is, I got this chair. Like my birth mom gave me my first ever gaming chair, which was a Respawn chair. It was used. I didn't care though. It was my first ever
Right.
gaming chair. I loved it to death. And I recently got this one. My mom gave me this for my 21st birthday. And I cried. I mean, not my 21st, my 20th birthday, and I cried.
Right.
I was just bawling of tears. It was great.
Yeah, that's
So,
awesome, and I'm glad that you have that to share, and that's I feel like that's pretty much what they're looking for. You know, people that really just want the brand for what the brand is meant to be, not the aspects of it or the cool little perks and the follows and all the stuff that follows after. I think that's their main goal. At least what I interpret, obviously, is just wanting to find humbling and genuine creators that actually, pretty much
believe
give
in
a
the
damn
brand.
about the actual company for sure. And and I've already kind of talked about the spill a little bit here and there, but there's a lot of companies that a lot of people are sponsored and affiliated by, and they don't even care about these companies. Some of these people that are got these sponsorships and stuff, they don't care. They've never tried it. They just say use my code, and it's like, yeah, like at the end of the day, get your bag, like whatever. But like with me personally, just like I said, like Elgato has been my only sponsorship that I've had, and regardless whether respawn happens or not, like Elgato is the only sponsorship I really want because it's the only company that truly has affected me aside from obviously respawn, and that's like at least like in my head, like that's how I interpret things. Is I only want to be affiliated with things that have a part of who I am.
Yeah. And it's like one of the reasons why I applied for this one smaller company. It's not because I wanted like the sponsorship so much. It's because I adored this random guy that popped up on Twitter one day. It went by Gamer Sleeve, and I was just like, what is this? I was just like, what is this? And I ordered one, and I was just like, oh, this is super nice for like $20. And I got a custom one, and I was just like, this is really nice. And he's just like, and then he had like 400 followers. Now, like, the account has like 8,000 followers, almost 10,000. And like, it's known. Like, because Jiven uses it. He's a pro player for
Yeah.
Fortnite. Rip Rara, everyone uses this one company, and it's this one guy in his basement that just cooks them up. And I'm like, you are 20 years old running a
Yeah.
multi-million-dollar company out of your basement. So I was
Yeah.
just like, I wanted to be a part of his journey in it. So that's like the one sponsorship that I got right now.
100%. Yeah. And that's sick. And I'm glad that you have that. And I think that's something I wish I've seen more of too. Like a lot of people obviously cling to the big stuff. And it's like, it's not really like the fact that like they only do it. Like there's just, that just may be their only interactions. But I think that it's important if you end up encountering somebody small that means a lot to you, I think it's important for you to either try to do something with it or just raise awareness for it, because at the end of the day, like, we're all trying to succeed, we're all trying to make it, we're all trying to get out there, and these local businesses are just working just as hard as these local creators, trying to get there. So at the end of the day, like, you just want to support everybody. If you want to grow, you got to make sure they grow, so that way we all end up at the top and everybody's happy.
The top of the food chain.
Yeah. Well, other than all of that, before we wrap everything up here, do you have anything that you're excited to share with anybody? Anything that you got coming up?
Uh, like I've been saying, me and Feeds both are going for this magical chair company called Respawn. So this is what this one is for. This is for like a collaboration, but also to get my perspective and his perspective both. Because this is the Feeds channel, of course, but it's like this is one of the challenges. So this is one of the big things that are coming up. We're at top 75 right now, so
Mhm.
top 50 coming up next. We'll see.
Yeah,
And
maybe.
maybe Tyler.
Yeah.
But other than that, I got a roommate moving in. Is like I'm super excited for that. I'm really excited for
Nice.
that. That because I don't really. Again, I still kind of suffer with anxiety. So like it's
Mhm.
just like having one of my online friends that I've met a few times move in with me will be
Yeah.
great. And so yeah.
Yeah, that's sick. Well, before we end off in here, of course, which a lot of people at the time of this recording, it probably won't be up, but me and you just got done playing Valorant. Is that something you're going to try to incorporate too, or just kind of a one time thing? Maybe we'll touch on it later.
I might touch up on it a few times again, but definitely more of a fast-paced person. I definitely probably will go back to that every now and again if I don't like Fortnite at the moment.
Yeah, it's definitely slow paced for sure. But I mean, you got to experience the team death matches and stuff. So I mean, it's you can still just kind of go and practice your aim and stuff on it. But yeah, but regardless, I definitely appreciate you being here today and chatting. Before we end everything off on here, is there any last words that you would have to say for anybody watching here today?
Um, keep being yourself. Like just be yourself. Just show the genuine joy you have inside of you. That's one of the biggest things.
Definitely, yeah. Keep being you. Keep being you. So yeah, but Pawnzy, I appreciate you. Appreciate your time. Thank you so much for being here. Anybody watching, again, please go check out his Twitter. It's right below his head. Go in the description, check out all his links and everything. Please go follow him and support him. And of course, Pawnzy, again, thank you so much for being here and just taking the time to just kind of chat with me at fucking 4 o'clock in the morning.
Bedtime.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I appreciate you again, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime.
Alrighty, guys. Well, that has been it. This is episode 42, I think. I hope I don't butcher that. Episode 42 of Feeds Mindset. Thank you guys so much for watching. Appreciate you guys as always. Please go again, follow Pawnzy on all his socials. Thank you guys so much. My name is Feeds, and I'm out, guys.